All right, guys, I just wanted to hop on real quick and go over this RKLB trade that I took today at around 12 p.m., right? So I entered this trade on RKLB, and if you look to the right here, this is the alert sent on the Discord, right? Added RKLB $90 calls for February 20th, right? So 1 month out contracts, or 1 month out expiration, and I bought them at 4.8 per contract. So I added these around 12, right? So if we look at what the daily chart looked like at the moment I entered this, right? So you can see on the left here, this is what it's currently looking like. And at the time I entered this trade, this is what it was looking like, right? So you can see quite a difference so far, right? You can see it absolutely is ripping right now. This was looking like it was going to print in an inside day at first, right? But once we started getting some volume here towards the middle of the day, this is the reason I entered it. It was basically doing a really nice red to green close, which is super bullish, right? Especially when you had this big breakout on some volume on Friday, right? We just basically came down, retested the 9 EMA here, and is now ripping to the upside here. So definitely a really good entry that I took on this. The best entry would have been obviously taking these down at the 9 EMA and watching how it reacts at this area. We did enter it when it came up to like around 75. So regardless, still a really good entry on this trade. And that's pretty much the reason I am in this, right? This has been one of the strongest stocks in the market over the last few months, right? This and ASTS, if you remember from a couple weeks ago, we took that trade for around 180%. This is just another stock in that same sector, right? If you look at ASTS, same thing. I think it's ripping today as well, up around, yeah. So this is up around some similar, right? 9%. Actually, this is only RKLB is only up 3%, but still, right? This is basically ripping back into the upside here. Probably going to get to new highs soon. So that's kind of the reason I'm in this swing currently, which it just now closed up around 3%. So when we entered the stock, it was down around 1% on the shares, and we're now closed at 3% in the green. So a big move already from the entry. I did take some trims here, so we had a nice push at around 12.18 for around 10%. If you look to the right here, trying to flip red to green, right? So far it's still red at that time, and then you can see 19% trim two cons here at around 5.5 from 4.8, right? So 480 to 550. New highs on RKLB at around 231. So this was almost a 3-hour trade, right? At this point. And then just now, right, we had a big push towards the end of the day here at around 25% on the 90 calls, around 25%, and then one more trim here towards the end of the day for around 33%. I think we just closed even higher now, so I think we're up around 40%. I'll have to go back and look in a little bit, but I think we closed around 40%. So I am swinging the rest of my contracts. I don't have many, right? So I've already trimmed the majority of my contracts at this point, but that's kind of just the reasoning, or the reason I did kind of take off majority of my contracts, just because I like to, when we get 30-40% moves in a single day, I like to take a lot of my contracts off, just to avoid being heavy risk overnight, especially when you can get a lot of different kind of news outlets in the after hours that can affect the stock, right? So that's the reason I'm in this trade, and I can even just go through the inside the single day that I took this, right? So I think I took this around, so I did take this around, what time did I take this? So around 11:56. So right around, right, so we did have, right, the first couple candles here. So this is the 15-minute chart. So the first hour and a half, 2 hours, we kind of had that big push to the downside, right? Kind of just swept out these lows, kind of retested a few of the trends here. That $73 breakout spot, we retested it, was able to hold that spot. We pushed back up, obviously not entering on this initial push up, right? We don't want to just chase these highs like this, or chase the stock when it made highs kind of quick like that. So we wait for the pullback. We want to see how it reacts later. And you can see we did get that pullback, and we started pushing back up. So it was basically printing in a new higher low here intraday. So that's kind of bullish already. That's a bullish trend, right? We didn't sweep these lows. If we would have came down and swept this low, I this probably wouldn't have been a stock that I would want to get into. This would probably continue this downtrend, but since we did make a higher low here intraday, I like this for a push. That's why I entered this around this time here, and you can see we did end up pushing through these highs here, and now we're ripping towards the end of the day, right? So I'm targeting, that first target was around 78, which we already hit. That was my kind of my main target here. Obviously, these highs up here that we made from after hours on Friday was kind of my first initial target, right? So that's why I took some trims off at around here, but then now I'm basically just trimming on the way up here. The big target would be this $79 level, if you look, which was that kind of high candle. I think this is the all-time high candle. Yeah, so this is the all-time high candle around here at 79.35. So once we get there, that would be my kind of my last trim, and then obviously I will hopefully want to hold at least one more or two more contracts to get that, basically the new all-time high push to whatever level it wants to get to. So yeah, that's the quick video I wanted to make on this RKLB trade, and we'll update this the following couple days to see what it does.